Story of the Movies, Season 4, Episode 1. Welcome to the 6th episode, Season 4. Originally, the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit Extended Editions were in here, plus the first season of the Lord of the Rings show, Rings of Power. But it was the Extended Editions, but maybe I will cover them in the near future. There was only supposed to be 10 seasons of the podcast, but I added 2 10-episode seasons. Some episodes from other series will be cut, make it shorter, or half a series cut, depending on what it is. But it's 12 seasons now. The season 4 premiere episode is a script that's taken 6 weeks in the making, but today's episode is I will talk about every single episode of Loki Season 2, as I think each episode will explore something different, as episode 1 explains the protecting of the sacred timeline and introduces a time slipping, being pulled in and out of time from their present and being sent through the past and the future. But the TVA has changed. Judge Renslayer has disappeared, but Loki might know why. Because of He Who Remains, a variant of King the Conqueror. Note, due of this recording, I will not say the actor's name who plays King the Conqueror, because of what has happened with him. Alright, back to the episode. All TVA agents search for Sylvie, while OB, Mobius, Hunter B-15, Loki, and Casey stay behind to fix the time disruption in the sacred timeline, which they do. Loki is also saved from time slipping, but we see a post-credit scene where Sylvie ends up in 1982, a branch timeline where she finds a McDonald's and wants to try everything. That's where episode 1 ends. In episode 2, we find out that Hunter X5 was the one to locate Sylvie and wants to know where and what Dox is planning. So Mobius, Loki, and X5 find Sylvie at McDonald's, and Loki says, "We need your help," but Sylvie wants nothing to do with him or the TVA. While Mobius is inside with X5 and reveals the plan to Mobius, saying Dox and agents that are with her are bombing every new timeline at the same time. So Loki, Mobius, and Sylvie find them and take all the devices down, manage to capture all who didn't escape, but killing a lot of lives in the process. That's where episode 2 ends. Episode 3 is Loki and Mobius going to the year 1893 to find a variant of He Who Remains, and that is Victor Timely, someone who was inspired by the TVA as a child, and that is Renslayer who helps motivate him. But in the end, Loki and Mobius, with Sylvie's help, take down Renslayer. Sylvie lets them take Timely to the TVA to fix the temporal loom, as she sends Renslayer to the Citadel at the end of time, where time waits for no one. Miss Minutes tells Renslayer she knows a secret. That's where episode 3 ends. Now, episode 4 is important but the episode begins with Miss Minutes saying that Renslayer was He Who Remains. right hand and doesn't remember any of this because Miss Minutes erased everyone's memories of He Who Remains. Renslayer and Miss Minutes kill anyone in their path as they ask anyone if they side with them, and the only one who does is X5. And they kill Docs and everyone else. B-15 comes in much later and finds them all dead. As Victor gets them access and the temporal loom, but Victor offers to go in and fix the temporal loom, but rips him to shreds before he can. And temporal loom explodes, and that's where episode 4 ends. Episode 5 begins exactly after the ending of episode 4. Loki is the only one who survives the blast, as it sent everyone back to their original timelines. Loki travels to everyone by time slipping, but manages to gather everyone back together. No one but him and Sylvie remember everything that happened, but in the end, Sylvie doesn't want to help. But the life she created in the timeline she was living in unfolds, and she managed to escape in time to the others. But the unfolding of time and space soon begins to them. But Loki manages to learn how to control his time slipping, ending the episode saying, "I can rewrite the story," as that's where episode 5 ends. The season finale of Loki picks up where episode 5 left off, as Loki is able to go back in time with his time-slipping power. But no matter how many times he goes back, he always fails. He goes back to the day He Who Remains was killed. He talks with him, and He Who Remains wants him to take over the TVA, but Loki decides not to rule the TVA. But he goes back to the same moment, but he knows what he must do. He goes outside to fix the loom, locking the door without the suit. Mobius and Sylvie watch him enter the loom. Loki tears apart all the timelines and weaves them together as one, as he walks up the invisible steps to his destiny to hold all timelines together with his bare hands and become the watcher of all timelines at the end of time. Next time on Story of the Movie Season 4, it is a direct sequel to the original Candyman. Until next time, listeners, stay safe and peace. This is Roan, signing off.